And we're live. Welcome everybody to this week's LinkedIn Live by Growth Advisors International Network Gain. I'm your host, Zoe Kambuzi, Lead Gain Advisor, and I'm very pleased to welcome Will Gilbert this week from Bodhi. Welcome, Will.
Thanks, Zoe. Thanks for having me.
Sure. How are you doing today?
Doing well here in sunny South Florida. You over in Barcelona?
Barcelona, and actually for once we've got a sunny day because it's been, as I keep complaining to anyone who will listen to me, a terrible spring. Very good for the water levels though, so I should be happy. So I'm super excited today because Bodhi will, its reputation is what other people say about you behind your back. So I'll tell you that every time I mention Bodhi, I get this look in people's eyes, which is quite cool because, we've got a lot of tech in our industry and that doesn't often happen. So I'm super excited to hear today what you're doing and what is coming up for you. So first of all, could you give us just a quick update of what your platform does and also why it's different from anything else on the market right now?
Yeah, sure. And it is truly exciting, especially going to these shows and showing all of our new stuff off. Hospitality tech, it's almost kind of a oxymoron. There's not really much creative stuff out there. It's the usual suspects over and over again that built a closed loop system where every hotel has a bunch of disparate and disconnected systems. Bodhi is really the only platform that does justice to the word technology or hospitality tech, I believe. We're truly building a state-of-the-art experience. We integrate with every device, whether it's a door lock, a light switch, an air conditioner, and we make them work and be managed on a single pane of glass. And not only are they managed, but Bodhi has a unique ability to act as a virtual technician, live testing every system so that when a guest arrives, you can guarantee everything's going to work. And it's not just limited to management either. We have an awesome guest app. Upon check-in, a link is sent to the guest via text or email. Nothing to install, nothing to download. Click on the link, unlock your door, turn on your lights, order F&B. It's really an industry first, and we show it off live at all the shows we go to. And we're able to do this and provide this experience because we're 100% manufacturer agnostic, and we integrate into everything the hotel already owns.
Wow. So to understand, you've got this platform where you've got the single pane of glass for your hotelier, and they can literally control everything in their hotel from that window.
Yeah, from the operations side, that's something also unique about Bodhi is that we're property wide. So not just guest rooms, not just common spaces. We're in the branded residences and across the entire property. So from our dashboard view, you can drill down to a breadcrumb on the ground, any area of the hotel.
Okay. So this is massive, and from the guest's point of view, they can use their phone to do everything from unlock a door to organize the lighting, the sound system, everything in their room. So it does away with all those different applications that someone might need.
Exactly. The first thing I do when I wake up in a hotel room, I'm not unfamiliar where I'm at. You grab your phone, right? So from there you can do everything.
Yeah, I think the possibilities for guest experience here are really worth underlining because we've spoken a lot about when a guest comes to their room, for example, and something doesn't work, that is an immediate down tick on their experience to have to stop whatever they're doing, whether they want to stay there or go out. They've got to now call the reception, right? So guest experience is something that we've spoken about before that you are sort of protecting, and that's quite a big USP for you guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it is. And it's just as important as operational savings, but everyone talks about saving electricity and resources, and that's all extremely important. But without having a guest to come stay at your property, hospitality doesn't really work, right? The guest it's quite simple. It is the property's number one asset. The more people that are happy, the more they stay at your property and utilize the amenities. And now that we have a happy guest and the hotel's making money, we can now focus on the operational savings that Bodhi provides, which is quite substantial.
Yeah, for sure. I used to work in guest experience, and the statistics are insane for how important guest reviews are and guest experience. And I think one of the things that we need to understand in the industry is also not all guests will complain. So you get those guests that go into the room, things don't work, they won't say anything, they'll leave, and they'll leave a bad review. So to be able to control and kind of proactively maintain that, I think has a lot of value for guest experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And we have a lot of that with our AI component to it. There's a lot to dig into there.
Okay. Tell me what you're doing, because I've seen stuff, I've heard stuff, and I want to know what this is about. Tell us about BodhiAI.
Well, I mean, currently AI is like most overused, overpromised, underdelivered thing out there. But behind the scenes, we're using machine learning coupled with our GPT to be able to deliver a conversational experience. And what I mean by that is, one, with our agentic AI, something we're calling the Bodhi Super Agent, we're able to predict upcoming issues with mechanical devices such as motorized window treatments, HVAC units. And with that data, we can then message in normal human, language, and message the engineering staff and let them know that there's an issue, so they can be proactive instead of reactive. We can even give them tips on what we think would solve the problem. And then number two, kind of to your point, we can text the guests during the stay and say, "How's the room? Is it too hot? Is it too cold?" And based on their feedback, we can make adjustments to the logic, and then we also can alert staff. Because like you mentioned, guests don't usually complain when they're there, they complain after the fact. So by being able to engage with them and ask them those kind of questions, we're using AI to protect the guest experience.
Okay, so if I understand, the Bodhi GPT, BodhiAI will proactively contact the guests during the stay. Is that something you program, or you need to go in and do, or how do people?
No, it's something that just gets turned on. So we have a couple ways. Right from the dashboard, you can go to individual devices, you can go property wide, and you can just ask it sorts of questions like simple stuff. How many guests checked in last night, and you get the answer within a second. Which room is having any, or what are there any rooms having cooling efficiency issues? And it'll come back and tell you yes, and here's why it's having those issues. So the chat features quite impressive.
I can't wait to see that. Talking to your hotels seems like a futuristic concept, but it seems like it's coming to life. So when a hotelier comes in the morning, they could literally switch it on and just start having a conversation.
It's live. I mean, we're processing a gazillion messages a second right now, and so that's what that super agent is watching and overseeing, and then when it detects an issue, it starts telling you. I mean, it's 24/7. It's always working.
Yeah, that's the sort of best use case of AI. So tell me a bit about predictive maintenance, because I think that's important as well.
Yeah, I mean, predictive maintenance, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's an easier thing to explain, which is you have all these data points coming in, and the easy one is HVAC, and the more data coming in, the more we can do with it, and we can sit there and say, okay, the unit is still cooling or it's still heating, but we're measuring the supply air going into the room, and again, this is 100% agnostic to any manufacturer. We can put a sensor there, bring that logic in, watch that, and let you know that, hey, there's an upcoming problem with this. Motorized window treatments, we're able to get data from some different motor devices that we're able to see maybe the RPM is slowing down, or there's a high current load going to the shades. So using that data, again, to predict and proactively alert you to an upcoming issue.
And so in terms of heating, cooling, things like that, how does this affect sustainability efforts in hotels?
So Bodhi is both a GRMS and an EMS, so guest room management system, energy management system. Both are centered around guest presence detection, and we have the absolute best logic because of the depth that we tie into the room. We're not just looking at an occupancy sensor. We're looking at the door lock, that aux sensor, light switches, television. So the last time you interacted with the TV, all that data coming in with a very high degree of certainty, we know if the guest is in the room or not, and being able to turn the lights off, set the HVAC back to a deep savings mode. And we're also not limited to the guest room. We have property-wide reporting. We can drill down individual areas show the highest utilization of energy, even water. Water submetering is something newer to the platform. And then the next thing we can do is using this data is on day of checkout. If we detect that occupancy was last detected, say at 5 a.m, the entry door was open and closed, how about we send a message to the guest to find out, one, if they've departed, and two, maybe incentivize them to respond, perhaps giving them a resort credit or a discount. This, a little bit on sustainability, this helps the housekeeping staff turn these rooms over quicker, getting back inventory faster and way more efficiently.
Got it. And what about, so in terms of use cases, you mentioned there that you might have some sort of gamification style approach to sustainability. How are hotels applying this?
So the more data you have, the more fun stuff you can do with it. So, if you do have, and a lot of this stuff you can retrofit it very easily. I mean, BodhiAI's great at retrofit applications. Going and putting a water meter and being able to, say, hey, you used this many gallons of water yesterday. I think you could do better today. Or the average for the hotel is this. My car, I get a report every month where it says nationwide, everyone, miles per gallon, all these kind of things, and you kind of see where you are, and you can start using that to try to win, and you're saving energy, saving resources.
So, for example, like for groups, that might be something that a bit of healthy competition.
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially with the current climate, ideas and restrictions and everything. So when clients come to you, what's their main goal? Is it sustainability? Is it operations? Is it, what lights up their eyes?
Actually, I was just talking to someone this weekend at a new property that just opened, and it's like nothing works, nothing connects, nothing communicates, nothing. I don't know what's going on. So that's usually the first thing people say is, how do we get everything where we know what's going on? So there's that part of it, to adapting it and retrofitting it into existing properties. Then we have people coming to us that are building a new hotel, and they're wondering and wanting to know, what systems should they use and what hardware should they use. And we always start off with the guest experience first, and guide them on, what are you trying to deliver? Do you want an entry keypad that's backlit engraved? Okay, here's a good product line that can take care of that. Some things are, do you want a silent thermostat? Not hearing clicking when it turns on and off, and being able to guide them into the most effective way of doing that. And then being able to show them all the different things that we provide between our remote unlock features and mobile key, the guest app, which is included in their subscription, and all the new features that we're always adding to the property. So helping them out understand what's truly available in the hotel tech space.
So it sounds like you probably work with like a massive group of providers and distributors, and you're almost like working as a wider team outside of your core team.
Yeah, I mean, we have specifiers, architects, distributors, lighting distributors. We have our own dealer system integrators that are coming across projects every day, and we work with all of them, training them, educating them on what's possible. Some product lines they're already selling that can be used amazingly well in the hotel rooms, but they're not being used because the software didn't exist until now. So we work with everybody.
And so how did you realize that this was a massive pain point in the industry and that everybody needed Bodhi?
Coming from the systems integration world for over 20 years, back in 2010, we had a really high-end mixed-use property coming out of the ground, all these different systems across it, individual property managers per building, and there was no way to centralize, manage it. And so we started writing software for it and solving a lot of problems, and it just clicked. It made total sense. This was the platform that could connect all these things together and make an operational life much easier.
And a bit about your background, Will, in tech. Like, let's go back a little bit before that and to how you got into that.
Yeah, started off when I was 6-7 years old with programming, computers, and moved on into the IT world when I was 14, I started working at an internet provider. I was in high school. I'd go home in the afternoons and take on my system admin role, and got heavy into the IT side of the world, and then naturally progressed into systems integrations, doing more things with audio video control systems, lighting control systems and such.
So yeah, it's very natural from like programming to the installing to understanding what's going on the ground for hotels. And why do you think, I mean, I know this type of technology has been applied more to luxury, let's say luxury homes. Hotels are now getting into line with that. And is this a product just for luxury, or do you see it in all different types of hotels?
It's all over, and that's a common question that we get, and because they say, "Oh, it looks like everything is for ultra luxury." It's not. Bottom line, no matter if you're building a limited services or an ultra luxury hotel, you have to comply with local code requirements, or turning things off, setting back the HVAC, all those kind of things. For those limited services hotels, Bodhi is fantastic. It's extremely cost effective. We work with leading brands of hardware that are extremely low cost. So these properties are able to deploy not only the energy savings and all the requirements that they have, also able to deploy an amazing guest experience using very budget conscious pieces of hardware.
Okay, yeah, because it does feel like a very luxury product, but eventually it has to, this technology, all types of technology have to go down to every level, right? All hotels need to get sort of up their game on tech.
Exactly. No one cranks a knob in their car to roll up a window up and down, right?
Exactly. It gets there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So I know high tech's coming up in a few short weeks, in about 5 weeks time, and I know you're going to be there. So can you give us a little sneak peek? I know we've talked about Bodhi GPT. Is there anything else people should kind of swing by the stand and come and see?
I mean, for one, we always have a really cool integration wall that shows a ton of different manufacturers' products all working together on the Bodhi system. We have live demos of the dashboard. We have live demos of our voice integration with Alexa. We should have something new with that coming at High Tech. And then, of course, our AI component. Our AI side is the main feature of the show. We've been showing it a little bit here and there, like we showed it at ISC in Barcelona, just the chat functionality of it. But the super agent portion will be shown at this show.
I'm sure it's going to be a very busy stand because it's going to be quite interesting, quite exciting. In the future, going forward, what's your vision for AI and predictive maintenance?
I mean, it's really the more data we have. So getting those data points, coming up with the algorithms too on the back end side to watch all of that. And then we'll learn from the interactions with the hotels and see what they're doing most with it, and start more fine tuning it per person. That's something on the voice control I'm really excited about, being able to give different individuals a different way to communicate with the hotel for their job description, what they do for the hotel, centered around what their job is. So the GM cares about occupancy, satisfaction, all of that. It's tailored to his role. Engineering cares more about the technical details. Having the interaction tailored to that role. So that's something we're getting to.
Interesting. So just like Chat GPT, there'll be different versions for different people, and you can train it to whatever you need and update it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love how that's so easy to understand, because we're all training our own GPT, so it's very intuitive. It's very timely. Good. So we're coming up to the end of the live, but I'd love to know one thing, Will, that nobody knows about you. Sorry, I have to ask the question.
I mean, it kind of goes back to your other question, a little bit of the background. Over the years, I've met many people, many individuals in business. I've only really ever shared my story with a few. I'm not big on talking all about myself. But I began learning how to program when I was 7 years old in that first computer. I was always interested in how software works and the possibilities and the magic that it can create. And so the interest has been a part of me since childhood. And what started as a childhood dream has kind of developed into a unique business focused on problem solving. So I think that's something that most people don't know. But
well, you're very lucky to be living what you wanted. You didn't say, I want to be a firefighter. No, I want a computer and I want to program tech and build things. Brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much. Can't wait to go to high tech and actually see what you're doing. And yeah, anybody listening, reach out to Will on LinkedIn if you want to know more about Bodhi. And yeah, have a great day, everyone.
thanks, Zoe. Appreciate it.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.